Hey, it's Zadie, you're watching Flytte Kartina, and I'm sorry about the hiatus. Movies were not being seen by me, and so things were not happening, and I was going through a really interesting physical period of my life where I was like always tired. Always. My thinking was that it wouldn't be fair to you, my followers, my subscribers, if I was not at my best when I was giving you guys information, and this is what you watch me for, right? Anyways, I went to go see Bohemian Rhapsody, as many of you should go and see it if you are over the age of 24. Just kidding on that last part, mostly. If you are new to this channel, welcome. Also, we're gonna go through a series of things where the first part is mainly information stuff, and the second part is information stuff as well, but at the same time it's not. First part I'm going to go through is the rating of the film and why I was rated that way, and then the second part of it is where I talk about the movie itself without giving away any spoilers because this is a non-spoiler review. Anyways, let's move on. So to just give a brief synopsis of what Bohemian Rhapsody is all about. It's mainly about Queen's lead singer, Freddie Mercury, and his life from when he started into a band and when he finished his life ultimately. Because a movie following all four members of the band would be long, they just focused on Freddie Mercury, the lead singer. So Bohemian Rhapsody was rated PG-13, and the movie stuck to all of the major requirements for a PG-13 movie. It's rated PG-13 for thematic elements, suggestive material, drug content, and language. That's a whole ton of stuff. Thematic elements are elements that are in the movie that may or may not be appropriate in this day and age. That is what I've defined it in the first time that I came across thematic elements. Basically, as it relates to Bohemian Rhapsody, there are elements that are relating to stardom that are not really everyday elements that people go through because not everybody is a rock star. Thematic elements were there, just not very prominent as some other things. The next thing is suggestive material, and this is more prominent in the film. The suggestive material suggests things like man-to-man relations. There are a few kissing scenes between two men, but it's not extremely passionate, and it doesn't last more than a few seconds. There is a scene where one guy is standing and it's the morning and there's another guy sleeping on the couch, which suggests certain material. Drug content. This is something that is very, very much a problem in the life of anyone under the spotlight. It's an unfortunate reality. Since this is set in the 70s/80s, there's a lot of drug abuse, a lot of smoking. Like, smoking is a regular thing that happens. There's a lot of alcohol drinking, and then there's some drug abuse, but not as much as the other two. Smoking is the most consistent element within the drug content criteria. And then there's language. Now, I didn't really notice the language until they said very prominent word. They do use the one F-bomb that they're allowed to use. They do use the middle finger once, at least as far as I remember. And then there's other uses of language which are completely within the PG-13 criteria. So I'm gonna pull out the frequency chart and rate this movie on a scale of 1 to 10 on how frequent these elements were all together, not rating them individually. That would be kind of weird and awkward for everyone. I'm gonna rate it a 9 because of all the smoking that was involved, because it was pretty much a constant throughout the entire movie. Some people are put off about that, and I don't want to be insensitive towards those people, so thus I'm rating it a 9. Honestly, this movie was entertaining, and I will talk about that later in the next half once I get done with this. Next, I'm gonna pull out my magical scale of movies, where I rate a movie on a scale of Steamboat Willie to Deadpool on how appropriate this movie is for younger audiences. And I'm probably gonna rate it higher on the scale just because of certain things that were happening, and probably will fly over kids' heads, most likely, but still being safe. It's a long movie and there's a lot of stuff. It's all suggestive, and I'm going to rate it a 7, which is Iron Man. So if you know the elements in Iron Man, like how frequent they are, then you'll know the elements in Bohemian Rhapsody and how frequent those are. If you don't, sorry. So now that I've given you all that information, I'm gonna give you even more information with opinions. I actually enjoyed this movie. It was 2 hours long, which was longer than I thought it was going to be. About 3/4 of the way through the movie, I was like, it's still going. I just finally realized the amount of time that had passed, but I was like, I'm still enjoying this, so it's gonna keep going. The pacing was pretty well done. It was just only my own interests. I was like, I'm not really interested in this aspect of his life, so can we move on and move on to the next thing? But overall, and technically speaking, this is a good paced film. They keep your attention and they don't lose it. For this movie in particular, I think they did a beautiful job balancing the personal life and the band life of Freddie Mercury. Obviously, you can't recreate everything, and you need to speed up certain things that have happened, or maybe switch some things around in the timeline for story's sake. But overall, I think it was a pretty entertaining film. I enjoyed it. I probably would see it again, maybe in the theaters. I don't know if I'll have time. You get a sense of the humanness of Freddie Mercury. Let me just take a moment to appreciate Rami Malek and his amazing performance. This guy is incredible. If you've seen Rami Malek in any of his work, even like in Night at the Museum, he has a certain air about him that he can constantly change and morph to whatever role he's been given, and I think what a lot of people have said, he did a really great job of impersonating the Freddie Mercury persona. Colors were incredible, costuming was on point, that was something that I really noticed about it. I also liked the balance between his personal life and then you get to see the stuff with the other bands. There are small moments where you're like, you kind of realize that it feels like a real family, because like there's this one scene where this guy, he gets angry and he picks up, like, he starts throwing things and then he picks up this coffee maker and he goes to throw it and everybody's like, not the coffee maker. If you kill the coffee maker, we will all die and it's going to be your fault. So you get kind of that like familial feel within the band's presence. Obviously performances were on point, the music was amazing and spectacular. It was kind of cool to see like at least a general idea of how these songs originated. This movie did a good job of recognizing what it was. It is a movie about Queen and everybody knows Queen. Even if you don't like them, you know who they are and you know what kind of style their music is. They don't pay very much attention to the songs themselves because everybody knows them, and so they're like, we know that you know this song, we're just gonna show you like, you know, this cool performance or how it was made, and like show these things back to back and like kind of just show you little snippets of songs and focus on the relationship of Freddie Mercury with all these other people instead of the songs themselves, and I think they did a good job balancing all of that. Overall, it was entertaining. It's pretty long, so you might want to pull out a few chunks of time for that. Question of this week is, are you a Queen fan? Yes or no? Comment that down below. It's easy. Like this video and subscribe to my channel because why not? Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great random Thursday. I'll see you on the other side of the screen. Bye!